Hello everyone, in this particular video we are going to discuss how to stay focused while studying and how you should overcome all the distractions which are coming in your mind while studying. This is a problem. Whenever we sit for studying, we have a lot of thoughts and lot of externalities which come in our mind, and therefore it becomes of utmost significance that we should stay focused while studying in the slot whatever we have decided that we are going to study for. So let's watch this entire video in order to understand how to stay focused while studying, where I would be sharing my techniques which I had used in my CA final and intermediate leave period. The first technique which I had used is that I always used to carry a stopwatch with me even in my examination and even during my CA final leave period. By stopwatch, I do not mean that stopwatch itself, I mean a digital watch. So I always used to use this digital watch, and I used to start the stopwatch while studying and I used to end it while taking a break. So for instance, I used to wake up at 5 am, I used to start studying at 5:30 am. I used to start the stopwatch at 5:30 am sharp, and whenever I used to take a break, say at 7:30 am, I used to stop the stopwatch. Now, what is the significance and what is the relevance of starting and ending the stopwatch? I used to know that I have studied for 12 hours in one day through that stopwatch itself. Okay, now whenever you are studying and if you have the stopwatch right in front of you, stopwatch or the digital watch right in front of you, what would happen is that your mind would know that stopwatch is running continuously. So if you look at the stopwatch, you will know that it is running continuously, and even if you lose on your concentration power or if you are distracted by any negative externality, your mind would know that the stopwatch is running and therefore you have to study no matter what external thoughts are going in your mind. This is a technique which I really find it very useful, and if you just keep a stopwatch right in front of you while studying, you'll know that there is something which is continuously running, and if I just waste my time thinking some other irrelevant thing, then this is simply going to waste my time. Therefore, keeping a stopwatch right ahead of you would be very beneficial, because you know that there is a thing which is continuously running, and therefore I have to follow that thing, and I also have to be focused throughout so that I am not losing on my time. The second thing is that you have to think as if you're in the driver's seat and you're not sitting at the back of the car. Imagine that you are sitting at the back of the car and there's someone else driving that car. What you'll tentatively do, you will just look outside the car, you'll open your window and you'll have a look at the greenery which is there outside your car. But after a point of time, you'll get bored. Either you'll ask the driver how much time is remaining for the destination to be reached, or you'll just start using your phone and you'll start surfing on your Instagram or Snapchat, or you'll just use your mobile phone for any other purpose. This is a thing which usually happens when you are sitting at the back of the car, because your mind gets bored and monotonous by sitting only at the back of the car. However, just imagine the same situation. You are not sitting at the back of the car, rather you are sitting at the driver's seat, you're the driver and you are driving the car. No matter what happened, you are not going to use your phone, because you know that you have to drive this car till the destination is reached, and therefore you are very focused to drive that car without any external thoughts, without any sleep coming in your mind, and therefore you will be able to reach your destination. Now apply this same logic in your studies as well. Whenever you are sitting for studying for 2 hours or 1.5 hours, whatever you have decided the slots to be, you have to imagine as if you are in the driver's seat. There is nobody sitting at the back seat. In fact, you are sitting at the driver's seat and it is your mind which is going ahead and it is being charged automatically. So think as if you are sitting in the driver's seat and not at the back seat of the car, and therefore automatically you know that you have to reach the destination, and in order to reach that destination you have to sit for 1.5 or 2 hours of studying, whatever the time you have decided. This is also another technique which you should have in your mind, that you have to sit in the driver's seat no matter what happened. You don't have to sit at the back of the seat. One more technique which I used to do is that I used to read loudly whenever I used to feel asleep. Okay, there were times when you're reading theoretical subjects. For example, you're reading some chapter of disqualification of directors, or you're reading some board meeting chapters of law, or you're reading professional ethics. Like professional ethics is interesting in auditing as compared to other chapters. For instance, if you're reading company audit, or if you're reading bank audit or audit of NBFCs, what happens is that our mind gets so bored or monotonous by reading only the theoretical subjects, the theoretical lines, that it tends to get asleep. So one advice which I would like to give here is that try to read aloud whatever the words you're seeing in the books or the modules, like whatever books you're referring. You have to ensure that at least in the middle you're reading that particular thing aloud, because if you're reading that thing aloud, the sleep automatically gets converted and therefore you will be able to focus in a better manner. So this is a technique which I had followed, and apart from reading loudly, I also used to write it on a separate piece of paper. So what I used to do, I used to ensure that after every 5 or 10 minutes there is at least one line or two lines. I'm going to write it beside the page or at the top of the page. As I've been telling you that reading loudly and writing, these are the two techniques which are definitely going to help you control your sleep while studying, because when you're reading loudly, you're like talking to someone, you're talking to yourself, but then reading loudly is nothing but talking. And whenever you're talking to someone, it would be very difficult that you will feel asleep because you are indulged in an activity. And similar reason, if you're writing in a module, this means that you are indulged in a particular activity, and therefore through this also you would be able to control your sleep or control the negative thoughts which are coming in your mind. So try to engage in any kind of activity like reading loudly or writing so that your sleep is completely eliminated and you are focused on your studies. In the previous video, I had also said that I used to listen to a meditation music which did not contain any lyrics. So you can find n number of music of this type on YouTube, and trust me, if you listen to them, all the background noise which is there would completely get eliminated. Now there were a lot of comments in the previous video who said that they aren't staying in a room which is completely for themselves. So one advice for all of you would be that if you aren't getting your own room for studying, what you can ideally do is that you can get habitual to listening to some meditation music or study music which is available on YouTube, and you can just listen to that music and study parallelly. Trust me, that music does not contain any lyrics, and that is only a music that contains the sound of waves or water or rain, any other sound that is not going to distract you at all. In fact, that is going to encourage you to study in more effective manner, because that is a thing which is continuously recurring and going around. So that is not a sound which is coming and going back, but that is a sound which is continuously being recurred so that you are able to study in an effective manner. So for all of you who can't have one room for yourself, one advice would be that download these kind of music and listen to them parallelly so that all the background noise gets eliminated. Now also take an example, guys. If you're going in an exam, you have to write the paper for 3 hours. You get a 15 minutes of reading time and you have to write it in the next 3 hours. You can't afford to sleep at all in those 3 hours, because you know if you sleep in those 3 hours, you're going to lose out on the next 4.5 to 5 months also preparing for the same examination. Same logic and same thing you should apply in your leave period as well. If you're studying for slots of 2 hours or 1.5 hour, whatever it be, imagine as if you're going in an exam and you can't afford to sleep in an examination. So just by the same logic, you have to ensure that you don't sleep in the middle of those 1.5 hours so that you can stay focused and study dedicatedly. So you have to think as if you are going in an examination. The pressure which is there in an examination is of course very different, but then you have to think as if you are giving an exam and you are studying for an exam itself for those 2 hours itself. I used to ensure that I get this thought only, that I am sitting in an examination, I cannot afford to sleep in my examination, and therefore just the way that you can write your answers in those 3 hours of paper, you can't afford to sleep and you are fully concentrated in those 3 hours. The same way you have to ensure that during those 2 hours of slots where you have decided to study, you are fully concentrated and your dedication is 100%. So by this logic and by this thought, I can ensure that you can stay fully focused, because all the distractions would get completely eliminated. Remember guys, attraction to distraction drifts you away from your goal, and it is very essential that all the distractions which you are facing should be completely eliminated so that the focus and the concentration power increases, and this is ultimately going to benefit you so that your results would come up in a positive manner. At this point of time, I'd like to thank Unacademy for sponsoring the video. For CA Final and CA Intermediate students who are giving their exams in November 2020, there is a last lap revision batch which has been announced by Unacademy. So there are sessions which are going to be taken by the tutors, and you can very well enroll for the same for your last minute revision. So they are going to give you last minute preparation tips, and they are going to cover all the entire content for CA Intermediate and CA Final. So for those of you who are interested, you can click on the link given in the description box. Thank you so much guys for watching the video. I hope this video was useful for all of you. If you do like the video, share it with all your friends, like the video and subscribe to my channel so that I can create more videos for all of you. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you in the next video.